Okay. Yeah, it does look rather dark. Oh, that's better. Okay. Ah. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, we'll begin on page 10 for a change. Yeah, I know, right? Sudden change. Okay, give me a moment to find the page and get settled. Yedi nefesh avarachaman mishoch avdach eretz onach yarutz avdach yemo hayah yishachaveh mul hadarach ki yeravlo yedidutach min hofetzuf v'chotam Adonai ziv haolam nafshi cholat avatach ana elna rivana la behad la lo habzivach az titchazek v'titrapem Aita lach shivchat olam v'tikyehemu rachamechom v'chusna habero havach ki ze kama nizhav nichzav Liro betiferet uzach ana eli machmali bi Hoshana ve'atitalam igalena ufros chaviv alai Sukat shelom ta'i eretz b'kevodach nagila v'nismechavach maher ahuv kiva moed v'choneni kimei olam. La 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 Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya da da da. Lechun ranana ladana naria letzor yishenu. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voices in song.
Great is Adonai, greater sovereign than all other deities. God's hand is above the earth, to keep mountain crests, too, are God's work. The sea is God's without made, dry land is fashioned by God's hand.
Come, then let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai, who formed us. For Adonai is our God. and we are God's flock, sheep in God's caring hands.
If only you would listen today to God's voice, and not become hard-hearted like the people of Babylon. Like that time in the song in the desert, when your ancestors tried me and tested me, though they had seen what I have wrought.
For 40 years, I was troubled by that generation, and I said, these are people whose hearts have gone astray. They do not know my way. So in anger, I swore they would not enter my rest. Arba'im shana kut bedor, va'omar ha'pnei levavheim, v'heim lo yadu darachai, asher nishbati ve'api, im yavon amunuchati. Shiru ladonai, shechadash, shiru ladonai kol ha'aretz, shiru ladonai baruch shemo, basu miyom liyom yeshuato, sabru v'goyim kivodo b'chol ha'amim neflotav, ki gadol Adonai. Molal mehod, no rahu, how kol Elohim, ki kol Elohe hamim elilim, vadonai shamayim asam, od vehadar lefanav os v'tiferet במקדשו, הבוא לאדוני משפחות עמים, הבוא לאדוני כבוד ועוז, הבוא לאדוני כבוד שמו, צאו מנחה ובואו לחצרותיו, ישתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש, חילו מפניו כל הארץ, עמו וגויים, אדוני מלך, אל תיכון תבל בל תימות, ידין עמים במישרים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ, ירם הים, לו אלו שדי וכל אשר בו, אז ירננו כל עצי יער לפני אדוני, כי היווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק ועמים אמונתו. Adonai malach tagel haaretz, yismechuim rabim. Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, let the many distant lands rejoice.
Clouds and thick darkness surrounds the divine, righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about.
Flashes of lightning illumine the land, the earth watches and trembles. Mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the master of all the earth.
Heavens tell God righteousness, and all nations see God's glory.
Worshippers of idols be shamed for praising false gods. All that is deemed supreme bow before God.
Zion rejoices, the cities of truth exalt, as you Adonai has judgment.
You, Adonai, are above all that is earthly, exalted over all that is worshipped as divine.
Those who love Adonai make evil. God protects the lives of the faithful, saving them from the hands of the sinful.
Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name. Oave Adonai sinura, shomer nafshot hasidav, miad reshaim yatzilem, ozaru halat tzadik, lishvelev simcha, simchu tzadikim Adonai, v'hodu lezecher kodsho. Mizmor shiru ladonai shir chadash, kinef lahot asa, Hoshia lo yemino, zoa kodesho, Ahodia Adonai Yeshuato, Ene Agoyim Gilat Zikato, Zachar Chaso Ve'emonato, Levet Yisrael Chalav Se Haaretz, Et Yeshuat Eloheinu, Hariol Adonai Kol Haaretz, Pitzchu V'Radanu V'Zameru Zamol Adonai V'Chiyenor Nichino V'Kol Zimram B'Chatzot Tzrot V'Kol Shofar Hariu Lifnei HaMelech Adonai Yiram Hayam Umloho Tevel v'yoshveva nehaot yimchaochav yachad harim yeranenu lifnei Adonai kiva yishmot haaretz yishmot tevel b'tzedek v'yamim b'mei sharim. Adonai Malach Yekazu Amim Yoshev Krovim Tanutaretz. Adonai reigns, nations tremble. The one enthroned amidst the cherubim makes the world quake.
Adonai is great in Zion, above all nations. They shall acknowledge your name, saying, Great, awe-inspiring, holy one.
A sovereign strength lies in the love of justice, and you forge paths of truth, judging Jacob righteously and justly.
Exalt Adonai our God. Bow down before God, the Holy One.
Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name, called to you and you answered them.
You spoke to them from the midst of the cloud. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai our God. You are a forgiving God for them, even as you punish them for their transgressions.
Exalt Adonai our God and bow down at God's holy mountain, for Adonai our God is holy. Ramamu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu l'har kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. We rise for the next psalm on page 21. Mizmor leDavid, Havul Adonai b'nei Elim, Havul Adonai kavod va'oz, Havul Adonai kevod shemo, Ishtachavu Adonai behadra kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El hakavod hirim, Adonai Amayim, Amayim Rabim, Kol Adonai Ba'koach, Kol Adonai Behadar, Kol Adonai Shover Razim, Vayeshaber Adonai et Azeh Halvanon, Vayarkidem Kemo Ekel, Levanon v'Sirion kemo v'nrehimim. Kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachel midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yachel hayalot, vayechezov yeachot, Uvheichalo kulo makavod, Adonai lamabu yashav, Vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. May be seated. We have one person joining us on YouTube this evening. Shabbat Shalom, whoever you are. Oh, two people. How about that? Two people. What's that?
We're going to believe in this now.
All right. It's a trend. It's an upward trend. Page 22. Let's start again. I skipped a word. Ana bechoach gedulat yemincha tahatir tzerura kaberi nahatam chasagveno tahareinu nora Nagi bordor sheye yechudecha kevavat shomreim barachem tahareim rachamim tzidkavcha tamid gomleim chasin kadosh berov tuvcha Nahel atatecha Yachige le'amcha pnei zochre kedushatecha Shavatenu kabel ushematzakatenu Yodea talumot Baroshem kavod machuto le'olam voed. If you would, may your mighty right hand undo the knot that ties us up.
Accept the prayers of your people who are revered, raise us up, cleanse us.
Almighty, if you would, guard as the apple of your eye those who seek your unity.
Bless them, cleanse them, have compassion on them, always act justly toward them.
Mighty Holy One, in your abundant goodness, guide your people.
Lord, exalt them, turn to your people who invoke your holiness.
Listen to our pleas, hear our cries, knowing the hidden depths within us.
Faith in the name of one whose glorious sovereignty is forever and ever.
Lechadodi, page 23. Lechadodi likrat kala penei Shabbat mikabela Lechadodi likrat kala penei Shabbat mikabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmianu helam yuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo tefecha v'letilo lecha dodi likra kala penei Shabbat nikabela lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lecho v'nelecho Ki himeko habracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sov ma'aseh machashavat chilo Lecha dodi likra kalam Penei Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Mikdash melech ir melucha Kumitzehi mitoch hafecha Rahav lach shever be'emek habacha V'hu yachamal alaichem lo Lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Hita ari me'afar kumi Livshi bigdei tifartech ami Ahaya ben Yishai beit halachmi korva el nafshi ge'alam lecha dodi likra kala penei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likra kala penei Shabbat nekabela Hit oreri, kiva ore, kumi ori, Uri shir daberi kavod Adonai alaich nigla lecha dodi likra kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likra kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lo tevoshi v'lo tekalmi matish tochachi umatehemi mahechesu ani he'ami v'nivneta ir atila lecha dodi likra kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likra kala Pnei Shabbat nekabla v'hayu limshisa shavosayich v'rachaku kol mivalayich yasis alayich Elohayich kivsos chatan hakala lecha dodi likra kala Pnei Shabbat nekabla lecha dodi likra kala Pnei Shabbat nekabla Yaminu smoti hifrotzi v'et Adonai taharitzi ayadish ben pautzi v'nismecha v'nagila lecha dodi likra kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likra kala Pnei Shabbat nekabla Bohi v'shalom ateret bala Gaham v'simcha u'v'tzahala Tohochem u'ne'am segula Bohi chala lecha dodi likra kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likra kala Pnei Shabbat nekabla You may be seated and we're now on page 27. Mizmor shir liyom hashabbat tov lodod l'Adonai l'zamer l'shem elyon lahagi baboker chazdecho l'emunatecha baleilot. It is good to thank you, Adonai, and to sing to your name most high, to proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. You glad me with your deeds, Adonai, and I shall sing of your handiwork. The arrogant do not understand, the fool does not comprehend this. The wicked flourish like grass, and every evildoer blossoms only to be destroyed forever. Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies will perish. All who commit evil will be scattered. As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear. In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no flaw. Tzadika tamar Yifra kehes bavanon Yes geshet ulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrihu od yenuvon besevam Shenim Rananim Yeyo Lehakid Kiashar Adonai Tzuri velo avlatabo. Adonai malake lavesh Adonai osita zarafti kontebel baltimot. Adonai is sovereign, robed in splendor, girded in strength. The earth stands firm, not to be dislodged. From earliest time, you were enthroned. You are eternal.
The rivers lift up their power. Rivers raise up their rivers raise up their waves. Above the roar of the vast sea and the majestic breakers of the ocean, Adonai stands supreme in the heavens.
In your house, beautiful in its holiness, your testimonies endure, Adonai, for all time. Mikod ma'im rabim adirim b'shpreyam adibam arom Adonai edotecha ne'emenu me'od ledveitecha nava kodesh Adonai le'orech yamim. Is anyone observing a yahrzeit tonight? No. Okay. I'm just going to take a moment to. I usually like to scan the names of the folks whose yahrzeit we're commemorating in the coming week. Actually, wait a second. Sonia, so it's your father-in-law's yahrzeit, yeah? Sonia, is it your father? Oh, son, I always get confused. You're Altman, and you're Mark, right? Mark. Okay. So, Sonia, it's your father-in-law's yahrzeit coming. Oh, okay. So you're observing a yahrzeit. Okay. So Mourner's Kaddish is on page 30. Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shmei Rabbah Bialma Divrach Yirtei V'Yamlich Malchutei B'Chayechon U'V'Yomechon U'V'Chayedecho Beit Yisrael Ba'Agala V'Zman Kari V'Imru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mavarach Le'olam Olamei Almaya Yit Barach V'Yishtabach V'Yitpo'ar V'Yitromam V'Yitnaseh V'Yithadar V'Yit'aleh V'Yithalal Shmei Dekudusha B'Richu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran balma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav huya aseh shalom aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru amen. And please remain standing, and everyone else please rise for the Baruch Hu. Page 39a. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMavorach. Please be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv haravim b'chochma patech sharim ובתפנה משלייתים ומחליב את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים ומשמרתם ברקיע כרצונו. Sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky.
Who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Sebaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening star.
Borei yom v'layla, kol or mipnei choshech, choshech mipnei or, mavir yom mevi layla, mavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leilam vohed, Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv ha'chavim. Page 40. Avat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Torah mitzvot Hukim mishpatim Otanu lemadeta Akein Adonai Eloheinu, Shavenu v'kumeinu, Nasiach b'chukecha, v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו, אורך ימינו, ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה. לבבך תשים ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'leptecha v'derech u'shovecha u'kumecha Ukshartam laot al yadecha, va'ilo tetafot beinenecha, utavtam al mizobetecha, uvisharecho. Here to make the Messiah together. Let's read the third paragraph of the Shema together in the English on 42 at the bottom. Adonai said to Moses, speak to the people of Israel and instruct them that in every generation they shall put tzitzit on the corners of their garments, placing a thread of blue on the tzitzit, the fringe of each corner. That shall be your tzitzit. You shall look at it, remember all the mitzvot of Adonai, and fulfill them, and not be seduced by your eyes and part as they lead you astray. Then you will remember and fulfill all my mitzvot, and be holy before your God. I am Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai, your God, truly. Adonai Elohim Emet. We continue on page 43b. We'll recite it in English. You proclaimed this covenant on the seventh day. You love this day we inherited, delighting in its remembrance.
And began its command with the word remember, Zachor.
From the time you bestowed it, joy filled the hearts of Jeshurun, the people you redeemed.
Securing the cause of righteousness.
You exalted Shabbat as a sign between us forever. In 6 days your world was formed. On the seventh day you rested.
And on this day Israel, your people rest.
To honor your name, they sing songs of praise to the one deserving of praise. Umalchuto bratzo kiblu aleihem Moshe Miriam u'bnei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha rabba yamru kulam mi chamocha go'elim Adonai mi kamocha neta b'kodesh norati lot osef eleh Malchutcha u'vanecha b'kei hayam lifnei zeli anu v'yamru Adonai yimloch le'olam v'oed v'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov v'omer chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai kal Yisrael. We're now on page 45. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, Tamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim, Ufchos Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha, V'taknenu Betzah Tova Milfonecha, V'oshenu l'mad Shemecha. Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign.
Restore us your counsel, and save us for the sake of your name.
Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us, and you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate.
Ensure our going and coming from life and peace now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people of Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Ushmort seitenu enu lechaim l'shalom ata berolam ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha Baruch atah Adonai hapoes sukat shalom aleinu kol amo Yisrael v'ya Yerushalayim. We rise from Shamru on page 46. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. יתכבד ויקדש שמי רבו ויעמד יפרח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובימיכון ובחייך בית ישראל בגלה בזמן קריב אמרו אמן יהי שמי רבם מברך לעולם עולמי עלמיו יפרח וישתבח יפואר ותרומה ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. Please remain standing for the Vayichulu. Give folks a moment or two to complete their. It looks like everybody's pretty much finished. If you're still in the midst of your own personal prayer, please don't feel rushed. We're on page 53. We'll chant the Vayichulu together. Vayichulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzevam vayachol Elohim bayom hashvihi v'la'ato asher asa vayishbot bayom hashvihi mikom la'ato asher asa yivarech Elohim et yom hashvihi yikadesh oto kivo shava mikom la'ato asher bara Elohim la'asot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov El Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Koneh Shemayim v'Aretz Magid Avot bidvaro Mechayei Metim b'ma'amaro El Hakadosh She'en Kamohu Hamriach V'Amo Yom Shabbat Kodsho, Kiva Ratza Le'aniach Lahem, Kiva Ratza Le'aniach Lahem, Vanhav Navo Be'yicha B'fachad, Nodeh Lishmo B'cho Yom Tamid, V'hein HaBrachot, El HaHodahot, Adon HaShalom, Mekadesh HaShabbat, Mevrech Shevihi, Umriach Megrusha, L'Amrush Neoneg, Zecher, Namaseh, V'Rehishiv, Eloheinu, V'Elohei Avoteinu, V'Etzev V'Nuchatenu, Kadoshenu V'Mitzvotecha, V'Tencha Kenu V'Toratecha, Sabeinu B'Tuvecha, V'Samachenu V'Yeshuatecha, V'Tahir Libeinu L'Avdecha B'Emet, V'Hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu B'Avav Ratzon, Shabbat Kodecha, V'Nochovo Yisrael M'Kadshei Shemecho, Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat, Yitkadav Yikadash Mirava, Ve'alamad Divrach Yiruteh V'Yalmich Machuteh, B'Chayechon, V'Yomechon, B'Chayedecho Beit Yisrael, B'Agalav Izman Kariv Imru Amen, Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach, Li'alam Alal Me'almayo, Yitbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yitpoar V'Tromav Yitnaseh, Yitadar V'Yitaleh V'Talal, Shemei Kudusha B'Richu, Leila Min Kol Berchata V'Shirata, Amen. Titkabel slot honor the hon the Cho Yisrael Kadam of honor Shmaya Imru Amen. Yehesh Lama Rabam and Shamaya V'chaim Aleinu V'Ko Yisrael Imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Bramav Oyaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Ko Yisrael Imru Amen. Savri Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'avav ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra kodesh zecher l'tziyat Mitzrayim, Kivanu v'charta, Yotanu kidashta mikol amim, V'shabbat kodshecha, Avav ratzon hinchatanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim, l'chaim. Oh, mazel tov. Okay, that part of the floor needed washing anyway. That was as water that spilled. Okay. So this week's parsha is Vayera, and the word Vayera means and appeared. So God appeared to Abraham in the heat of the day. So he was on the plains of Mamre, and he was recovering from Brit Milah. So there he was at the age of 99. He just performed, he just performed his own bris. And talk about faith. That's like, wow, it takes a lot of faith to do that. Ouch. So, and and we learned several mitzvot in just the first paragraph of this parsha. So the first mitzvah is, well, actually, that was from last time. But we have Bikur Cholim, right? Visiting the sick. So it begins where it says that God appeared to him in the plains of Mamre while he was sitting at the entrance of the tent in the heat of the day. So God himself, herself, was enacting the mitzvah of Bikur Cholim, visiting the sick by going to see Abraham. And then we have the next mitzvah is hospitality, hachnasa orchim. So, right, he says the next verse, he lifted his eyes and saw 3 men were standing over him, it says, were standing over him. And he perceived and he ran toward them from the entrance of the tent and he bowed toward the ground. And he said, my Lord, he says, actually, I'll read in the Hebrew. It says, Adonai, im na matzati chen beinecha, al na ta'avor me'al avdecha. My Lord, if I found favor in your eyes, now please pass not away from your servant. So this is really very curious, the way this is phrased, because, well, a couple of things. There's a lot of midrash on this. So why the heat of the day? So the commentary says that God knew that hospitality was one of the most important mitzvot for Abraham. And he said, you know what? Abraham is always receiving guests. I'm going to give him a break. He's recovering from his bris. I'm going to make it a really hot day, and that way nobody will come visit him. It's too hot. Nobody will be out traveling. But then he sensed Abraham was like really wanted to fulfill the mitzvah of receiving guests. And so these 3 angels appeared. And they're actually called men here, but they're identified later as 3 angels. And the way in which he approached the mitzvah of welcoming guests, he did it with alacrity. As it says, he ran toward them, right, from the entrance of the tent, and he bowed to the ground. So he did it with his whole being, right? It was such a beloved mitzvah of his. And then he says something very interesting. He says, like I said before, he says, my Lord, if I found favor in your eyes. But there were 3. So the commentaries say that he's actually talking to God, because it begins, he's having an encounter. He's having a spiritual encounter with the divine in the opening of his tent, where it says God appeared to him. So he was in a state of deep contemplation. But we learn that when one is about to do a mitzvah, especially this very important mitzvah, one then, it takes precedence, even over doing something as spiritual as communing with God. And there's no difference between the two. Because when we received strangers, when we welcome strangers into our midst, when we show hospitality to guests, we are receiving an image of the divine and recognizing that divine image in those who we welcome into our tents. And also, so those 2 mitzvot, and then just a couple of minor mitzvot. One is the mitzvah to cultivate awareness of God's presence. So that's from the opening lines. So that is an eternal mitzvah, to be aware of God's presence constantly. And then we also have another mitzvah of education, because he involves his whole family in this great mitzvah, where it says he sends the youth to prepare food. That was Ishmael. So he's actually instructing Ishmael in this great mitzvah of welcoming guests. And in fact, we know that this is a great, anyone who's traveled to the Middle East, whether to Israel or to Jordan or where else? I don't know. Anybody been to Syria lately? Probably not. But was it Egypt? So hospitality is such a very, very high value in that culture. So it's a wonderful thing. And may we all practice it, not only here in our synagogue, to be hospitable, welcoming, but to find opportunities in our homes to welcome in the guests and the stranger. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah. Could he get up? That's a good question. Yes, a great. We'll have to look into another commentary for that one. He was in great shape. He did Tai Chi, I think. He was very flexible. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Okay, so let's bring to mind those friends and family members who are in need of refuah, need of healing. Especially, you want to keep Jim, Tony in our thoughts and prayers this evening. And we'll sing Debbie Friedman's prayer in the middle of the middle page of the bulletin. Mi sheperach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheperach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say Amen. So I jokingly asked if anyone's been to Syria lately, and it reminded me of there's a rabbi, Asher Lopatin, who I knew in Chicago, and he went with a few other rabbis to Syria several months ago. You know, if you haven't heard, there's been a regime change there, right? A major regime change, and so Rabbi Asher Lopatin and a few other rabbis went to Syria to actually do another mitzvah that's mentioned in this week's parsha, and that is to fight for justice. So they did their part to start building peace with the new Syrian government, and to have make a positive, be a positive Jewish presence. And I think that's an amazing thing that he and the others did. Aleinu, page 56. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateh gidula li'yosef b'cheshit, shel ha'asam v'gugei ha'ratzot, lo samanu k'mitzvot ha'adama, shelo samchatenu kohem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishchachavim u'modim, l'ifnei melech hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu noten shamayim v'yosed haaretz, u'moshav yikaro hashamayim mimahal, u'shchinatu zo, b'govei meromim. Eloheinu, Eino Keinu Evazulato, Kakatu Betorato, Yadata Hayom Hashevota Elvavecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim Bashamayim Mimahal V'al haaretz Mitachat Eino. We're talking a little bit. Ki amachushacha hilameatem lo b'chavod, kakatu b'toratecho, Adonai yimloch le'olam voed, v'ne'emar haya Adonai, l'melech al kol haaretz, v'yom ahu, Yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. At this time, we remember the following Yartzeiten. Sonia Altman's father-in-law, Louis, Sandy Shedroff's mother, Esther Schwartz, Jim Frank's father, Joe, Iris Silverman's father, Charles Miller, as well as Rose Koss, Stephen Grossman, Herbert Singer, Benjamin Gold, William Hoffman, Fanny Jacobson, Rhoda Kaur, Ela Diaz, and Joseph Gold. Memorials Kaddish, page 58. Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Bialma Divra Chirute V'Yamlich Malchute B'Chayechon U'V'Yomechon U'V'Chayei Beit Yisrael Ba'Gala V'Zman Kari V'Imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mavarach Leolam Alamei Almaya Yit Barach V'Yishtabach V'Yit Po'ar V'Yit Romam V'Yit Naseh V'Yit Hadar V'Yit Aleh V'Yit Halal Shmei Kudusha Brechu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran balma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imru mav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Services tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Hey, Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Bum, bim, bim, bum, bim, 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 bum, bim, 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 bum, yam, ba, ba, bim, bum, bum.